Welcome to this news on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, tension is rising between some inhabitants of Bangang in the west region of the Republic of Cameroon and municipal officials in Wabane in the southwest region over the execution of a project by the Wabane Council on a piece of land in Bangang Bacham subdivision, Bambutus Division, West region of the Republic of Cameroon. And out of the country, the crisis in the Tigray region of Ethiopia is crumbling the economy of the country. Prices of basic consumer goods are on a sharp increase, and supporters of Union Sportive of Douala blame the relegation of the club to Division 2 on poor management. Those were top stories. We begin this newscast in the crisis-stricken region of the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and precisely in Bamenda 2 subdivision, where the bad state of roads is contributing to worsen the already difficult living conditions of inhabitants. This is because of the insecurity that has been in that part of the country and across Anglophone Cameroon for close to 5 years today as a result of the Anglophone crisis, and now their living conditions are being worsened by the bad state of roads. Municipal authorities are now stepping up efforts to upgrade the situation of roads in that administrative unit. Musela reports.
The inhabitants of Bamenda 2 municipality have to deal with dust in the dry season and muddy roads in the rainy season. A high percentage of roads linking communities within the Bamenda 2 municipality are covered with potholes, with some deep enough to overturn a vehicle. 18 months into their 60-month mandate, councillors of the Bamenda 2 Council are committing to rehabilitating roads within the municipality.
The rehabilitation of roads, the maintenance of some roads, Itakbukau roads, grading and letting of roads leading to Jiwesha Nitop and Chinde, construction of metallic culvert at Nafo and Inchomba, construction of 2 ring culverts at Mia, grading and rehabilitation of roads from Cowboy Junction to Foundation Radio, construction of box culvert behind St. Agnes and construction of the VIP toilet where we are presently located.
During the council's midterm evaluation, which took place in Bamenda, Mayor Peter Chene regretted the impact of the ongoing socio-political and security crisis on revenue collection in particular, and the council's activities in general. Despite the security threats making it hard for the realization of earmarked projects, councillors of the Bamenda 2 voted a deliberation to set up an equipment pool that would facilitate road rehabilitation and construction within and without the Bamenda 2 municipality.
Mbostela reporting there from the northwest regional chief town, Bamenda, now to the border between the west and the southwest region of the country, precisely in the locality of Bangang in the Bacham subdivision, Bambutus division. Some inhabitants are now at daggers drawn with municipal officials in Wabane in the southwest region of the country, and the tension between the inhabitants and the municipal authorities has been provoked by the execution of a project of the Wabane Council on a piece of land in Bangang, which is in the west region of the country. Details in this report.
Inhabitants of Bamesang village in Bambutus division west region exchanging on the construction of a structure on this parcel of land in Bacham subdivision.
Nous sommes surpris de voir une maison sur les terres Bangang. Subitement, je suis à la maison, on me dit qu'on est
I was informed a business structure was being set up on my piece of land. We share boundary with the southwest region. You can see over there. I was told this is a southwest project.
de Bangang, même ces maisons-là, ça c'est de côté-là, c'est sud-ouest. Et nous sommes ici à l'ouest.
How come such a project is being realized in Bangang West region and again on my land?
À Bangang, et sur mon terrain.
Contacted on phone, the mayor of Wabane says he chose this site because of his strategic position in exchanges he had between the Elis of Bambutos and Lebialem, thus putting himself available to reach a compromise with local authorities and those claiming ownership of the land. I have no shop being constructed there. They are for all Cameroonians. The shops belong to those who are in Bangang. We had financing of these shops and we think the zone is a very strategic one, and from the start there was no problem. The issue is simply that since the shops belong to them, in no way will I ever claim ownership of a shop there. The shops are theirs. What I intend doing is descend to the field to clarify them on that, because I spoke with the divisional officer of Bacham, noting that is why the structure is being built on their land. I don't want to engage in a Bambutos Lebialem land squabble. On the part of the chief of Bamumbo, he finds no problem, but stresses there is a boundary and it is the duty of the administration and Ellis to go down to the field so that everyone knows their limits.
Important est qu'il y a un frontière là-bas.
For instance, where the construction is ongoing is in my territory, well demarcated by the Germans.
C'est dans mon territoire. C'est une limite très bien tracée par les Allemands.
A reaction that is disturbing to the chief of Bangang, His Royal Majesty Serge Evaris Momokabu, who says the said piece of land is rather found in his territory. Informed of this dispute, the divisional officer of Bacham signs an order stopping construction works on the site. Unfortunately, the injunction had never been respected, an action that is feared will aggravate matters between the parties.
10 suspected bandits arrested by security officials in the Mongo Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. They are suspected of having been involved in acts of theft and, of course, terrorizing the population. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Caught in possession of hard drugs, harmful objects and stolen items, the 10 accused bandits were apprehended in the course of a security operation codenamed Clean Consamba. Following calls against insecurity from Consamba city dwellers, the commander of the Mongo North Gendarmerie Company, Frix Mebouens and Guys, embarked on a house-to-house security check in some notorious neighborhoods of the city. A crackdown which permitted them to lay hands on these individuals and items. This Consamba city dweller and victim says the bandits have acknowledged that they stole from her house. They took away her TV screen and money. She continued that the bandits surprisingly made their way into her apartment, found on the upper floor of a story building, forced open her door before stealing while she was away. She, like many other Consamba city dwellers, are happy that the accused bandits have been arrested. The gendarmerie boss for the Mongo North, on his part, says the crackdown on men of the underworld will be extended to the rest of Consamba and the Mongo North of the littoral region.
Some inhabitants of Ngwe locality in the Senegal Maritime Division in the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon take to the streets protesting over what they consider as illegal and unlawful exploitation of their land. Charles Ekome reports.
Ngwe is a locality in Yabi in the Senegal Maritime Division of the littoral region. For some time now, the inhabitants of this locality have had sleepless nights They accuse a group of unknown individuals to have settled on their lands. We don't know these people. We can't even trace their origin or where they come from, but they have already constructed houses, poultries, and even established plantations on lands which do not belong to them. We don't know who gave them the audacity and authorization to settle here. The locals further say, based on their investigations, they finally got the answer to their question. There is a civil administrator in the Edeya 1 subdivision who has been selling lands to these unknown individuals. There is a man who recently wanted to buy land, and he went to see the chief of Ngwe, who denied to sell him a portion of land. He later went to Edeya, and the divisional officer is the person who gave him authorization to acquire land in Ngwe. The divisional officer, who is said to be at the origin of this confusion, hasn't officially expressed himself on this affair, but the situation has further escalated as the inhabitants of Yabi have taken the matter to their local council. Unfortunately, the council has proven incompetent to handle the problems of the people. Meantime, there are still rising tensions between the individuals who have acquired land and locals who demand justice.
Public health officials in the Republic of Cameroon blame the rising COVID-19 figures in the country on the non-respect of anti-COVID-19 measures put in place by government and the health measures of the World Health Organization, and they are now worried that with the way things are happening in the country, as if we were in a normal period, the COVID-19 situation of the country may get worse in the days ahead. Details with Immaculate Fogwe.
The recent rise in COVID-19 cases in Cameroon is preoccupying health experts. Within a period of 15 days, precisely from August 10th to the 25th, 2021, the country has registered 1,250 new infections, approximately 138 cases daily. Cameroon has registered a total of 82,605 confirmed cases. Health experts say the rise in cases has been fueled by the Delta variant, which has been reported in 14 African countries, including Cameroon. Added to this, the non-respect of public health measures such as the wearing of face masks in public spaces, social distancing, and hand hygiene are equally blamed for the upsurge. With just 0.7% vaccinated population, health experts are worried that the days or months ahead may be deadly. Few days to the resumption of schools, there is an urgent need for authorities to put in place measures in order to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
Now in news out of Cameroon, Ethiopia's 10-month war has come at a huge human cost, with thousands killed, millions displaced, and many in desperate need of assistance. Added to this damage being done to Africa's second most populous nation, the war has incurred a huge economic cost that could take years to repair. Inhabitants of Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, say monthly expenses have doubled for two reasons: the war that broke out in the northern region of Tigray in November and the coronavirus pandemic. Official statistics show that the cost of basic consumer goods has indeed gone up in Ethiopia. They were on average around a quarter more expensive in July than a year earlier. In sports, Union Sportive of Douala goes down to Division 2, and supporters of the club have blamed the fall of their team on poor management. Details with Manjik and Gebre.
Union Sportive of Douala will see how life fares in the Elite 2 Championship during the 2022-2023 season. The club, which is one of Cameroon's most historic and decorated team of all time with 6 Cameroon Cup trophies, dropped points in a game they were not supposed to make errors. The boys of coach Richard Toa, playing at the Young Sports Stadium in Bamenda, fell short of their target as they succumbed to a 77-minute goal from Zay Abesolo of the Public Works Department, PWD Bamenda, to see them relegated to the Elite 2 Championship. The green and white boys of Douala, heading to this crucial encounter, knew their fate was in their hands. In 22 games played during their campaign in the Elite 1 Championship, Union managed to pick up just 18 points and ended on spot number 10 out of 11 teams in Group A of the championship. The dropping of Union Sportive of Douala is a blow to its numerous supporters in the economic capital who think poor management led to the poor performance of their darling team in the Elite 1 Championship this football season.
11 of the 28 players called up by the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are already in camp. The boys of coach Antonio da Silva Conceição Oliveira will begin training at the Olembe Stadium that is ahead of the match day in the quarterfinals, or the qualifiers rather, of the FIFA World Cup competition in Qatar. And Cameroon will take on the Flames of Malawi on September 3rd, 2021 at the Olembe Sports Complex in Yaoundé. Talking Point is up next. Thanks for staying with us in Talking Point. Today we are receiving the Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, the PAP. Lena Fabrice, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sir Babila. It's always my pleasure to be your guest on this very wonderful program.
There is already tension that is yet to go down across Anglophone Cameroon, northwest and southwest regions, and yet another comes to add to that, notably between some inhabitants of Bangang in the Bambutus division of the West region and municipal officials in Wabane in the South region over the execution of a project by the Wabane Council on Bangang land in the West region. How can we understand this?
Yeah, simply characterize the state at which the country is so chaotic. It's the country itself is not managed properly by top officials, by local authorities. There is no understanding. There is no master of what people are supposed to do. If inter-community conflict arise, it's simply because we don't, first of all, have and respect laws on properties, laws on land, and the issue of everything in Yaoundé, follow-up of land documents, of property documents, have also contributed to the frustration of people, and this sometimes results into land conflict. It is not the first time that we are seeing land conflict issue in Cameroon. We saw it with University of Boya and some inhabitants. We see it every day. It's just that it is underreported. But if we are seeing the tension that is coming out from what is happening in Bangang and the Wabane community, we simply understand that it's a misunderstanding between the councillors of the Wabane Council and individuals who claim that it is their property, and they simply need to go for a memorandum of understanding in order that the conflict do not degenerate to something else.
There seemed to have been an understanding between the mayor and some officials in the Bangang or in Bacham subdivision, which actually opened the way for that project to be executed out of the Wabane municipality, because it's the project of the Wabane Council, but it is being executed out of the municipality, and not only out of the municipality but across regional lines between the southwest and the west regions.
Yeah, these are some of the things that makes us to understand that in Cameroon, people are stronger than institutions. Someone who will take the responsibility to order the execution of such a work, given the fact that he is aware of the documents that stipulate or outlines the boundary of their subdivision or of their municipality, the person must have known where or to whom he or she is counting on to go ahead and order the execution of such work. And it comes to the simple fact that there is no management in the country, there is no control of people, there is a lot of laxity, and the people are not serious at all. We have strong men rather than having strong institutions. And for this to be corrected, the law and justice have to take its course. Even though we call this every day, we are not always seeing the justice and law taking its course in situations like that. It is always injustice and so on and so forth. Because what must have prompted the people in the background to react to this should be injustice that have been meted on them. Actually, maybe the sharing of a particular package that did not reach them.
Actually, we heard an inhabitant of Bangang in that report who is claiming ownership of that piece of land, saying that he just discovered that something was going on his piece of land and he was not aware about it. And this puts to question the issue of governance. Governance that seems to be relegating the people at the grassroots to the background.
No, but it's not
taken into consideration.
It is not today that we know the governance of the so-called Republic of Cameroon have been relegating their citizens to the background. It's not today. They are always doing that. They have been doing that. Citizens of this country are on their own, and those governing are on their own. And most often, they are not taken into consideration even in decision making at the local level. Because what they call municipality is supposed to be as inclusive as knowing that who owns this land in this place. And does the person have the legal documents proving that he or she owns the lands? And if you see it is authorities that are enforcing the execution of a project in someone's land without the person being aware, and the person coming to make such a claim, then there must be something behind that is not right. You see, so it goes to expose the failure, the inability to master even municipalities that people govern and this is driven by greed. This is driven by inefficiency. This is driven by ineffectiveness. This is driven by all the factors that characterize bad governance.
In all of that, the mayor of Wabane gives an explanation which, according to his point of view, simply indicates that there shouldn't be a problem with that project, because he says, I don't have a shop in that place. Those shops are for you people, you inhabitants of Bangang, so it shouldn't be a problem.
What are the procedures of acquisition of a shop there? We know what happens in Cameroon. Even the houses that they say is low-cost house in Cameroon, is it really low-cost house? They say it's meant for the population. Is it really meant for the population? Can an average private worker be in those places in Cameroon that we know, with the rate of inflation, with the rate of connection, corruption, and godfatherism? So those are things that is most of the time propaganda, is most of the time just for the media, just to make reports and somehow make people to feel that yes, the municipal council, the mayor, they are doing something is for the people. It's not for the people. Most often projects before its execution are already have the people that will occupy such places. So out of 10 to 20 projects supposed to be executed in a municipality, 2 or 3 is not sufficient to evaluate the success of one's leadership in that municipality. And coming up to take someone's property because you are a mayor is not right. So the problem needs to be solved from the grassroots, just like the other problems in Cameroon that we always say should be solved from the grassroots. And if it is taken to justice, it should not be because someone is an elected official with the kind of elections that they always do, that the individual citizen who have his right over his property should be maltreated.
Right now, the risk involved here, there is already an unstable security situation in Wabane and the rest of southwest region of country, and even across the border, along the border between southwest and the west region, because of the influx of IDPs, internally displaced persons who are moving out of their homes in the southwest to the west region. When such a thing comes to happen, happens at this point in time, what are the risks?
Yeah, we really have a lot of risks, because the situation in these security regions are already very volatile, and we understand that IDPs are even in situations where people need to take care of their condition. People need to see into it that they are not affected. But when municipal authorities go about creating problems of property ownership where it is not supposed to be, and so on and so forth, it only makes people to go around with this what they call settling scores, because where arms is circulating and there's no control of circulation of arms, is very difficult, and you cannot always have the situation under control. So what we will call the authorities at that level to do is to do the right thing, is to have render justice to the people that cry injustice, and to also say that they should not aggravate the situation that is already aggravated, especially in connection with the Anglophone crisis that we are crying every day should be looked upon by the state of Cameroon, by stakeholders, separatist leaders, and the international community, for us to have a peaceful civil society again.
Fabrice Lena, Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always my pleasure to give my opinion about issues affecting the country as a youth leader. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast. Coming up right away, live from the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, La Presse dispute. And after that, Equinoxe will be examining the relationship, the tense relationship between inhabitants, citizens of Cameroon, and the police who are often attacked by inhabitants, and vice versa, complaints of police brutality going up to the sky. That will be on the table on Equinoxe. Stay with us.